Do seniors deserve a fair Social Security increase in 2026? And if relief comes, is $660 enough to pull millions out of poverty? That's the pressure point right now. The issue isn't abstract, it's immediate. Social Security has been thrust to the front of the agenda, with a proposal already filed in Congress. If you receive retirement benefits, SSI, SSDI, or survivor's benefits, the stakes are personal. The next few years could change the number on your check and the choices you make every month. President Trump has put Social Security front and center, tying these changes to a proposal already in Congress and making it a signature priority. Here's the picture. For decades, those who built this country watched benefits lag behind rent, medicine, and groceries. Budgets stretched while inflation was measured with a yardstick for workers, not retirees. The conflict is plain. Main Street seniors versus a system that keeps telling them to make do with less. Enter a package of 5 reforms tied to an actual bill, the Social Security Expansion Act, that aims to rewire how the program treats low-income seniors, adjusts for inflation, strengthens disability protections, and secures the trust fund. It's legislative text with big proposed changes. Start with the headline change: a targeted increase of roughly $660 per month for low-income seniors by setting a poverty-adjusted minimum. The proposal pegs the floor at 125% of the federal poverty line. In plain terms, if your current benefit lands between $1,000 and $1,200 a month, the government considers you below poverty today. Under this plan, your check would rise automatically to lift you above that threshold. Thousands more per year guaranteed. Because the poverty line updates annually, the protection keeps working in the years ahead. Think about the shift, moving from roughly $12,000 a year toward nearly $20,000 changes whether a person can cover food, rent, and prescriptions without a monthly panic. The next fix targets a quieter injustice: how cost of living adjustments are calculated. Today, benefits track the CPI-E, an index based on the spending of urban workers. Seniors don't spend like 20 or 40-somethings. They spend more on health care, prescriptions, and housing, and less on discretionary goods. The result has been smaller COLAs than the reality seniors face. Look at 2026. The projected COLA is about 2.7%, which for many retirees means roughly $50 extra. On paper, that sounds like help. In practice, Medicare Part B premiums are expected to jump by more than 11%, erasing the gain almost immediately. The bill would switch to CPI-E, the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, so adjustments follow the basket seniors actually buy. Over time, that keeps hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars in seniors' pockets. Using the wrong index since 2010 has already cost older Americans nearly $370 billion. Fixing the formula is fairness. Alongside the targeted floor, the plan adds a flat $200 per month for everyone on Social Security: retirees, disability recipients, and survivors alike. That's an extra $2,400 a year baked into the check, not a one-off boost and not dependent on inflation noise. In a world where modest COLAs get devoured by premiums, utilities, and food, a permanent across-the-board raise gives every beneficiary breathing room. For some households, that's a month or two of rent. For others, it's the difference between filling a prescription on time or skipping doses. It's a direct admission that the program hasn't kept pace, and a concrete way to restore purchasing power. But no reform survives if the trust fund collapses. The projected shortfall hits in 2032. If Congress does nothing, the law triggers automatic cuts of about 25% to every benefit. That isn't a scare line, it's the default. The expansion proposal confronts solvency by lifting the payroll tax cap. Right now, wages above roughly $176,000 aren't subject to Social Security taxes. That means a CEO earning $40 million pays the same Social Security tax as a worker just under $200,000. The plan would apply payroll taxes again on income above $250,000, bringing in billions and extending solvency by roughly 75 years. Crucially, this affects about 9% of households. More than 90% would see no tax change at all. Some lawmakers float raising the retirement age, shifting the burden onto those with the least flexibility. President Trump has publicly resisted that move, yet the idea lingers. One group too often sidelined in these fights is people with disabilities. This plan makes sure they're not an afterthought. It grants the same $200 monthly increase to SSDI and SSI recipients and addresses cases where children and adults lost disability coverage unfairly in the past, restoring benefits and tightening guardrails. For families relying on disability payments, small changes are survival level. The message is simple: the safety net must include those who cannot work. Put the pieces together. 5 pillars stand out. A poverty-adjusted minimum targeting roughly $660 more each month for low-income seniors. A COLA based on CPI-E, so inflation keeps up with seniors' lives. A $200 across-the-board raise locked in for all recipients. A solvency fix by lifting the payroll tax cap so promises can be kept. And explicit protections that include disability beneficiaries rather than leaving them behind. Taken as a whole, that package could reshape the program and keep cuts off the table while putting real dollars back into seniors' pockets. What if nothing passes? The status quo keeps grinding down living standards. A 2.7% adjustment lands with one hand, while an 11% premium hike takes with the other. Prices creep, savings thin, the calendar flips toward 2032. The most vulnerable, those trying to survive on $1,000 to $1,200 a month, remain underwater. And that's the quiet betrayal. A system designed as insurance against old age poverty ends up tolerating it. What changes if it moves? Minimums rise above poverty and keep pace with the federal line. COLAS track seniors' costs. Every recipient gets $200 more each month. The trust fund stabilizes without shifting the burden onto most workers. Disability beneficiaries gain security written into the rules. That's not a windfall. It's a restoration of the promise. The fallout will be felt in kitchens and pharmacies, not just committee rooms. When the law's default is a 25% cut, inaction is a cut. So here's what to watch next. Do lawmakers rally around the poverty-adjusted minimum and the CPI-E formula, two tests of whether relief is meaningful or symbolic? Does the payroll tax cap change survive intact? The lever that shields benefits from the 2032 cliff while leaving more than 90% of households untouched? And do disability protections stay central? Because a safety net that forgets the disabled isn't a safety net at all. One more fault line. Some voices still argue for raising the retirement age. Others insist on holding the line. Which side wins will decide who pays the price. To stay on top of the next round of votes, subscribe, like, and comment with your story so the record reflects real lives, not just talking points. Here's the cliffhanger. If the payroll cap fix stalls again, what backroom trade will Washington push? Raising the retirement age, trimming COLAs, or something even more drastic? When the cameras are off and the deal-making starts, which promise gets bargained away first?